Okay, so we have started profitability analysis, controlling profitability analysis. Basically, it is a management reporting tool. Here we will be creating many reports in order to see a lot of dimensions. Okay, so in order to take some decisions on the performance of the business. Okay, so in order to have this COPA in place, firstly, the foremost is we need to create operating concern. Of course, we have already seen operating concern stands on the top in the FICO finance and controlling organization structure. So we will be creating the operating concern now. So in order to create operating concern, first we need to have characteristics. That's compulsory.
Hello, Nanda.
Yes,
So what you are saying is that for this copper, the first maintenance is to create the operating concern. That's the
right,
first thing.
right. So
Okay.
in order to post any transactions in finance, so what is required? Company code. So similarly, in order to have COPA in place, firstly we need to create operating concern.
Thank you.
Right. So in order to have this operating concern creation, in order to have this operating concern created, we need to have characteristics and value fields. Of course, value fields are not required in the case of accounting based COPA. So value fields are required in the case of costing based COPA. That is what we have seen in our previous. All right, so value fields are not mandatory, but characteristics are required. So let's go and create our operating concern. To create operating concern, path for this is IMG, controlling profitability analysis, structures, define operating concern, maintain operating concern, just execute. Okay, as I mentioned, it has to have four digits. You cannot consider two digits, three digit, one digit, and you cannot consider even underscore special characters. So since these are all the standard SAP, so you can see them with the underscore. But if you want to create underscore related operating concern, system will not allow. So you cannot use any special characters or something. You just can use either alpha or numeric, or you can use the combination of these two, but it has to have four digits. So let us go and create our operating concern. I'll keep 1248. Okay, this is standing about to the controlling area, so you may have multiple controlling areas within this operating concern.
Hello,
Okay,
Nanda.
yes.
I'm sorry. Yesterday, when we were talking, the first thing you were doing is okay. Yeah, you came here to come and show costing base like an accounting base.
Mm-hmm.
Is that part? Is that so? This is where it is in operating concern, correct?
Correct,
So
correct.
how come it's gray out?
Yeah, we will discuss that. We have
Oh,
not
okay.
created operating concern yesterday.
Okay.
I've just shown you what are all these things, but I've not created any operating concern. It will take some time. So since we had less time, I thought of keeping that today
Okay. Okay.
because it
Thank you.
requires a flow. Okay.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so operating concern requires four digits. It can be alpha, numeric, or both the combination of alpha and numeric. It has to have four. And operating concern stands on the top, so it means you can have multiple controlling area under this operating concern. Okay, 1248 I have given. The moment I say press, it says 1248 does not should 1248 be created. I want to create this. Say yes. You are changing, deleting cross client settings. No problem. Enter. Or instead of pressing enter, you can also select this create. So it will give you the same thing, but still it gives you, you're changing the cross client settings, that window you will get anyways. Okay, so you want to copy it from a sample operating concern, you can do that. Or if you don't want, you want to have your own, no need to select any sample data. Now here description, select the operating concern description. So I'm saying operating concern 1248. Okay, now here type of profitability analysis. We discussed about costing based and accounting based. Now, basically the major difference between these two is costing based requires value field, whereas accounting based required cost elements. That's all at the moment we will discuss, but going further, we will discuss few more differences between costing based and accounting based. Okay, because this is one of the this is very important, this is one of our interview questions. Okay, so that we will discuss. Now what we will do, going to select both costing based and accounting based. Even though if I select both of them, at the time of creating any COPA reports, system will ask us under which type that you want to create the COPA report. System will ask system will give us a pop-up window asking us which type do you want to consider. So we need to select the relevant one and we will be creating the relevant reports. Okay, I'm selecting at the moment both of them. Now, type of profitability analysis, costing based and accounting based. Right. Now, under data structures, we have seen what is a data structure, right? We have seen a data structure. Data structure is a combination of uh, characteristics and value field. Suppose if you don't select a casting based COPA, now you see when I select create, you would be able to see it is asking us to say first, save it. Okay, now here status is showing as red. Now if you say create, then you would be able to see only the characters. Okay, now if I select, do you wish to exit? Yes. Now if I select casting base, then both we will have both characteristics and value fields. Now you can see characteristics and value field. So based on the selection of the type of the profitability analysis, now here if I just select accounting based COPA does not require value field because accounting based COPA basically requires cost elements, whereas costing based COPA requires value field. So based on this selection, that data structure fields will appear, data structure tabs will appear. Okay, so costing based COPA, accounting based COPA. Then coming to we will go into data structure and we will see little later. Now coming to the attributes. So there are three tabs here in the main operating concern configuration area. First is the data structure. So this is what we will be discussing once we complete here. Coming to the attributes. What are attributes here? What is your operating concern currency? In which currency do you want to have your operating concern transactions? So I would say USD. And what is your fiscal year? K4. Now, when you see over here, these are all required in the case of costing based profitability analysis. It means in the case of costing based COPA, in addition to your currency, operating concern currency, you can have further more. Currency types for costing based profitability analysis. Do you want, in addition to this operating concern, do you want also company code currency? If you want, you can select them. You can select them. And do you want to consider operating concern currency along with profit center valuation? What is this valuation? Valuation is nothing but transfer pricing. So there is a concept right within controlling called transfer pricing. When you are moving the goods, when you are selling the goods within the company, it means from one plant to the other plant. Sometimes you may sell it at a selling price, not at the cost price, because you are selling to an internal party, internal plant. So whatever the profit that you are getting out of that transaction, that will be considered here in the profit center valuation. So that is called a transfer pricing, a different concept. In such a case, we will be using this. Next, second period type, weeks. So normally what happens is fiscal year basically happens based on the fiscal year variant. K4, what K4 says, it is a calendar year with 4 special periods. It means monthly period, monthly. 1 month is considered as one period here. But you want to if you want to consider in weeks, you can select both plan and actuals. You can consider, in addition to your monthly report, you can also see your weekly reports using this. But remember, with this what happens is there is a problem on the storage. So the moment you post any transaction, it gets updated on the monthly and as well as a weekly. The same transaction will appear both sides. It means you will have a problem on the database. The data, I mean, whatever the data we have from the transaction will store in two places. So thereby data place, I mean, our database will go, will become full in, in less time. I mean, suppose if you are posting transactions without using this, and if the database works for 10 years, and the moment you consider this, maybe it will full, it will become full in 5 years or 6 years. So it stores the data in 2 times. It will have an impact on the database. So if you want, you can consider this, or otherwise you can just ignore. Coming to the last tab, environment, there is nothing in this, just changing the status. Selecting the environment here, cross client, client specific part. So when you are when you are configuring the operating concern, remember there are settings with cross client part and client specific. So some configuration happens within this and some configuration happens within the dev system. Okay, so for that reason, if at all you have the status, if at all you have the status in red color, in order to make this green, you will have to use these, that we can see later. So basically environment tab helps in changing the status. If at all you have red color, it means you cannot post any transaction. The operating concern is not activated. Remember one point here,
Hello,
this is
Nanda.
the most, yes.
Hello. I'm sorry. What is the difference between that cross client part and the client
Cra-
specific part?
yes, so if you see that, let's say this is our dev system. Within the dev system, we have multiple systems. This is called golden client. Let's say this is called testing client, and this is called development client. Okay, so there are certain settings. What happens in COPA, even if you do here, one second. So there are certain other there are certain settings. What happens even if you do it in the golden client, it will get updated in testing client and as well as development client. So you really don't require to make to take the changes from golden client to testing client and development client. Those are called cross client settings. And if you say specific to a client, it means if you do any configuration golden client, the configuration will be there in the golden client only. In order to have that in the testing client, you need to move the changes to testing client using a transaction code called SCC1. Using SCC1, we will take the changes from here to here, right? And in the case of cross client specific, you don't require to have SCC1. So it will be it will update in the other systems automatically. Just for example, if I talk about the example, when your ABAP team develops any report or something, they do in the development client, and they really don't require those changes to be moved to here. So someone is using our system. Okay, so what is happening here in this, the development client, the development client, the ABAP team will work in this client, and whatever the program changes that they are doing, they will not move those changes to testing client and golden client. The moment they make the changes here, it gets updated over here. That is called cross client specific settings. Okay, if you say client specific, it means if you do anything in the golden, it will lie in the golden client, and if you want the same thing in the testing client, you need to move the request to testing client using transaction code SCC1. So that is what basically the cross client and the cross client and client specific thing.
Thank you.
So, so it is better not to use that one, right? That feature,
Which one?
the one, that it automatically get transferred from one client to another cross client.
No, no, no. It happens
No,
automatically. We are not going to do anything on that.
we can do it
We
because
we are
it's going
not
to be.
specifically doing that. It happens automatically. That's a standard behavior of the SAP. We don't have any control on that.
So what I mean to say, suppose if we don't want that to be happen,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have to activate that feature, right?
No, let me finish, then you will understand that clearly. So you
Oh,
know what is class specific and client specific, right?
yes, okay, yes.
Okay, so now we will see here. I'm just executing again. I'm going into maintain operating consent, just execute. Here we will be selecting our own. Okay, here attributes we have. Okay, I think that. Okay, now going back to the attributes. So I'm saying USD here, K4 here. Okay, and I want to consider company code currency in addition to it. Coming to the environment, this we are not specifically using. Based on the status, we will have to select them, that we will see later. Okay, now coming to the data structure. So once I'm done with all of them, with attributes and environment, coming back to the data structure. So we are not creating our operating concern based on a sample operating concern. We will be creating our own. And on the types of profitability analysis, we are selecting both costing based and accounting based. Okay, now coming to the data structure. Select create data structure. Select this, create data structure. Now, since we have selected both costing based and accounting based, you can see both of them, characteristics and value field. Now on the top, if you see over here, we have a table CE1 followed by our operating concern. This is what I was explaining you in the previous session. In the previous, we were discussing about this. So why operating concern requires four digits? Because of the tables. These tables are important to view the details. I mean, the moment you post any transactions and when we have an operating concern, then this will go and update here in this table. C1 1 2 3 4 8. What is this 1 2 4 8? This is our operating concern code. So this is the reason why system expects 4-digit code in the case of operating concern. Someone is using our system. Okay, so one CE1 followed by 4-digit code, that is called uh, a table in operating concern. Okay, so CE1. I think we need to escalate this part. Someone is kicking us out.
Nanda, can't we kick him out? Whosoever doing this, we can,
No,
do
we
same
cannot. We
thing.
cannot. Because this is a remote desktop, right?
Uh-huh.
So once I log in, he will be kicked out. Once he logs in, I'll be kicked out.
Oh,
This is a remote desktop, right? So why this person is giving to multiple people?
so Nanda, this thing happens, like suppose, that if you are working in a company and they, many employees use at the same time, doesn't that just face this kind of issue?
No, no, no. It is not. That is direct system. You are connecting to the system directly, but this is happening through the remote desktop. It means there is a system. Okay, there is one system in India,
Mm-hmm.
and he gives you the control using, yeah, when you are entering into this, you will be using run, right?
Right.
Run. You are entering this thing MSTSC. This
Yes.
is called a path to enter into that, and this is what the computer IP.
Okay.
So you can connect, from US or from Singapore, you can connect to the Indian system.
Mm-hmm.
That is what the remote desktop says. But whereas in our system, we don't do this thing, right?
Okay.
Directly we go here in our system, we will select a particular SAP and we will access it.
Okay. But what happens, suppose if the like CFO, traveling around the world, around the globe, and they wanted to access their own company system.
Correct.
So
Correct. But he's not using remote desktop, right? He will be using his own credentials. He will
okay.
have his credentials, so he will not have any issues.
Okay.
See, when you are entering into SAP, you will be given one user ID, right? One password, right?
Yes.
So that way they can, they can access.
Oh, okay, but they don't have to go through the remote.
Right, they don't require to go through the remote. Directly we
No,
will be.
for example, that a CFO is traveling to Japan, and from Japan he wanted to access to the US, his
Correct.
company server. So he has to definitely access through remote, right?
No, no, no. See, the point is you will have GUI on your system, right?
Right.
You will
Mhm.
have the GUI on your system. Directly, you will be selecting that particular GUI and you are accessing. So this GUI, if you see over here, this GUI SAP logon thing is not there in our desktop. It is not there on desktop. This is the other desktop. This is not us desktop. Remote desktop. This is called remote desktop. This is not us desktop. Whereas this is our desktop. So the moment I select a particular thing, it appears and I can access that completely.
Correct, correct, correct.
And here we are going into the others system,
Desktop, correct.
others desktop, and we are accessing from here. So this desktop basically is there in India, but we are accessing. Now the person who is giving us should have multiple user IDs. We are entering using SAP something, right? S2 SAP something, some user ID we are using. He has to give a different user ID to different person. He has given the same user ID to different people. So when that person enters, we will be kicked out, and when we enter, he will be kicked out. Only one person can use at a time. At any given point of time, only one person can be used.
Mhm.
So let's come back to our operating concern. Okay, we have seen attributes and we also have seen the environment. Coming to the data structure. So since we are selecting both costing based and accounting based, we can see both characteristics and value field. The moment you select this, create a data structure. So we can see the characters and value fields. Now, here, this is what the table I was talking about in our previous session. So CE1 is a common name followed by 4-digit. This 4-digit is nothing but your operating concern. So based on the operating concern, the particular these four tables, there are four tables, these four tables will be created. CE1 followed by operating concern, CE2 followed by operating concern, CE3 followed by operating concern, CE4 followed by operating concern. This is what we discussed yesterday. Okay, now coming to the characters and value fields. As discussed, characteristics are independent, right? What what is your criteria in order to get a report? What is your reporting requirement? What parameters do you want? All those parameters are to be considered as a characteristics, and you will have to select all of them. So you can select all of the characteristics available, or you can select whatever are the required. So if you select all of them and whatever are required in the report, you can use them. Okay, but there is a problem with it. The moment you take characteristics, and the system will store the data accordingly. It means the more characteristics you consider, the more data space it requires. So it will capture majority of the data. And moreover, since these are all characteristics activated in our controlling area, the moment you are saving the data, system goes and checks all the characteristics and it stores the data in the relevant place. Even though the data, the characteristics is not applicable to a particular transaction, it will go and check. If it is applicable, it will take, and if not, it will ignore the particular characteristic. What I mean to say is industry. Suppose if I selected this industry and activated to our operating concern, even though we don't have any transaction relating to industry in our posting, but still system what it does is it goes into these characteristics and checks whether any industry related information in the transaction, it will take the value into the industry. If we have, if we don't have, it will ignore. So what my point in this case is, every time when a transaction is happening, system will go and check all the characteristics what are assigned to our operating concern, even if it is not relevant for a particular transaction. So with that, what happens is you may see a fraction of seconds of performance. So in order to avoid all of them, so normally what we do, we will select only the characteristics which are required for us. Now when you see here characteristics, you can see all these characteristics, right? You can see many characteristics, but if you see over here, you will not find certain other characteristics such as controlling area, company code. You're not finding over here sales organization. If you see over here, profit center, see here general, generic article, rebate, industry, sales district, collection, business process, CRM, then market element, CRM, form of manufacture, area, customer group, aircraft, brand, business field, destination, flight number, flight type, customer, okay, customer group, country, route, then material group, day of operation, Nielsen, I don't know what is that, departure, location, rotation, strategic business unit, sales office, sales group, sales employee, main material group, zone, bill to party, ship to party, country, ABC indicator, material group, partner, and product hierarchy, season, year, season, sales order, theme, sales office, sales group, and that's it. So we don't have company code, controlling area, sales organization, those stuff, right? Distribution channel, divisions, we are not finding all of them. So those are called fixed characteristics. The moment we activate and assign to our controlling area, based on our controlling area, we will have company code information. Thereby, we can get all these fields, all these characteristics. Those are called fixed characteristics. So there are certain, I don't remember the number of characteristics, I think 11 or 12 or 20. I mean in S4 we may have little different, but I really don't know how many are fixed characteristics will be assigned to our operating concern as soon as we activate and assign to our controlling area. Let us see that.
So these are
Let us
not the fixed one, right? Fixed characteristics.
These are all variable characteristics.
Variable.
Yeah, we call them as variable characters. But whereas the moment you assign our operating concern to controlling area, we will have few more characteristics. Those are called fixed characteristics.
And here, we can select whatever, we think we are going to use it, correct? From
Correct,
the
correct,
variable. Oh.
correct. So
So
we will be telling.
okay, so these are not otherwise available to controlling area, company code area, or any purchasing organizations like that.
Correct, correct, correct. So these are, you know, generic specific kind of characteristics.
Okay, it related to the industries.
Of course, we can use many of them here, but basically these are generic one.
Okay.
Whereas company code characters, how do you get the company code character? When you have a company code activated, then only you can able to have
Yes.
that. Otherwise, you don't require. Right? So those are called fixed characters. So fixed characteristics will be activated as soon as we assign our operating concern to
Okay.
controlling area.
Okay.
Okay, so let us select a few of the characteristics so that you will understand basically the difference between fixed and variable characteristics. So what I will do, I will say I will select sales employee, selecting sales employee, and I will say country. Okay. And I'm just selecting only two. Of course, we can come back here and we can activate further. We will discuss that part also. Now, if you see over here, all these are in black color. All these are in black color. But the moment we assign them onto the left side, whatever have been assigned, those will show in different color, in blue color. Okay. Now, currently you can see sales employee also in the black text, right? It in the black color. Now, once we assign them over there, you can see the difference. Okay. So I'm just assigning them onto the left side. Now you see here, it is in the blue color. You can see a difference between the assigned and unassigned. You can see a difference. Okay. Now I just took only two characteristics from the available variable characteristics. Now come back to the value field. So select value field, and in both the cases we don't have any Z characteristics and Z value field. It means we have not created any characteristic and any value field. So if you want to create any characteristic, the condition is to have WW followed by the code, relevant code. And in the case of value field, it is required VV. Okay, VV followed by the code. Even in the case of value fields, we have not created any user defined value fields. Now pick up the one what are required. Selecting revenue. Here also you can see all of them in black. I'm just selecting few of them. I'll just say price variance. I'm just selecting only one variance. Of course, if you want, you can consider all variances. You can consider all variances. So you can select all variances. Of course, these variances we will discuss in detail in our product costing. Okay, I'm selecting something else. Depreciation, if I want to consider depreciation charges here into this SAP, into COPA, then all these are flight related information. That's fine. If I want to consider insurance, yes, I can use. And here landing fees, logistics, material discount, I will say advertising. And here sales cost, sales and marketing, I will say administration expenses, sales commission,
So we are basically, selecting all expense related
expenses and
fields
revenues,
for both.
expenses and revenues. We are selecting both.
So
I,
Nanda,
yeah,
these selections we depend on business requirements.
correct. So
Okay.
as I explained yesterday, right? So yeah, this is the one basically. How do you want to see your report? COPA report. This is called your COPA report. What all you want? Sales. In the sales, we may not have one sales. We may have multiple sales, right? I want to show, I want to see, basically, I want to see direct sales, indirect sales, or I can say in within the direct sales, I want to see specifically export sales, inland sales. So if I want to see these in such details, I will have those many value fields over here. I want to see discount. I want to subtract commissions also, sales commission. there you will have net sales. So typically our report will be like this. Sales, I will say export sales, local sales, indirect sales. Okay, so this is what my total sales. I will have total sales. From this I will be deducting discounts, deducting commission. If at all you have something else, you will be deducting. Now once I deduct discount, commission from my total sales, what I will have? I will have net sales. This is what my net sales. Now from this, what we will deduct? We will deduct lot of items, expenses. What are you have under expenses? You may have administration, you may have office, you may have rent, you may have depreciation, you may have electricity, whatever you want, you can create all of them. I mean, what is the business expectation? We will have to create all of them. Suppose they, if they want, the sales employees salaries, you can consider. If they want to consider rent, power, electricity, whatever, stationery, so you will have to create.
So Nanda,
You can
this is only required if you are defining as a costing base. If you are not defining costing base scopa and going for a accounting base, then you do not require to do define all this thing.
value fields, but you require a GL for all of them.
Yeah, oh,
In the
GL,
case of accounting base, you require a GL,
cost
a
element.
cost element. Yes, cost element is required for all of them. You
Oh, so
need
instead
a
of
cost elements.
oh,
Yeah, instead of value fields, we require cost elements.
okay.
Okay,
Since we are defining in a both costing as well as accounting, we are also going to define the cost element or not?
correct. We need to
Oh,
have.
okay. So that step will come next.
Yes.
Yes, I think that's what he's saying. If you go
So
to the SAP system, can you go to the SAP system? So when you select only the value field, that value field tab. Hello, Nanda, Nanda is on. Naresh.
Yes, George, I can hear you.
You
I
know
think
what
he
I'm saying?
taken a
What
side.
I'm saying is, if you select the costing base and the accounting base, okay,
Right.
I think it's going to have two tabs.
Correct.
So from the two tabs, you will see the cost element and this value. I don't know. I'm not sure, but let him
No, I
come
can
back
tell
there
you.
with a thing. Okay.
Okay. Well, what it is, that what he says, that okay, if most of the time, what happens, George, the company defines, they go with the costing base.
Okay.
Very seldom they go with the accounting base.
Yes.
And the reason for that, because they wanted to analyze the data based on the amount or based on the figure.
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, we need to define the value field, which is, that's what he's showing us.
Yes.
Like sales data, sales depreciations, all
Correct.
expenses. That's what it is. And my question was to him, what if the company goes with the accounting basis, so where we have not defined yet, cost element for that. So that will be coming to the next step. And that's what, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We will see what is gonna say.
Since here, he defined both costing base as well as that accounting base, right?
Because
So
uh,
now,
because
yeah,
because he said if a company selects only costing base, then you will see the value field.
yes.
If
Then you have
this
to
if
define, value field.
yes, then if he select accounting base, then it will be the cost element field.
Correct.
So if you define both of it, it will be cost element field and value field.
Yes, both.
So
But
that means that on the cost element field, you go and select cost element field. On the value field, you select value field. But in
yes,
this case, I think he activated only only costing based. That is
Oh,
why he's
that
saying
is what we want to make sure with him. The whether I think as far as that I saw his configurations,
yeah.
he defined both costing and accounting both.
No, he later changed to costing based only.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay, okay.
But
That's why.
let's see when
Okay,
he come back. But he later changed to only costing based. That is why we are
okay.
having the value feed. But let him
Yeah.
come back and confirm that. You my
Okay.
brother, man. I
Yeah,
love
we
you so
will.
much.
Yes, yes,
I
yes.
love hey, I'm talking to my brother from another mother.
Exactly.
That is a
Thank
very good, it's a very good explanation. So
Yes.
it means that if you select both, we'll have both field. If you select one field, we will have one field. If it is cost element field, we have value field. If it is
Yeah.
account field, account based, we have cost element field. So if you
George,
select both, right?
George,
Yes, sir.
it is a very simple, because when we are defining with the accounting,
Yeah.
it accounting means that we need all GL account. GL account is nothing in a controlling is a cost element. That's it. That's why we want cost element.
Right.
Okay.
So it depends, but most of the time,
Accounting
company
based.
use counting based. I
Yes.
think it's using both. Hey, Nanda, Nanda is mute. Nanda, you are mute.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Nanda.
Okay.
So
Yes.
the question is, when you are selecting your operating concern field, did you select both costing based and accounting based, or you selected just costing based?
No, we are selecting both of them.
See?
Okay. Even though I'm selecting both of them, first we will be discussing the costing based only.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay. That's
Then
what I.
okay,
after that,
Okay.
I've just selected both of them, but first we will be doing all the configuration relevant to costing based COPA. Only
mhm.
few additional configurations will come in the case of costing based
Costing based.
COPA. So we will
Okay,
be discussing all of them. Then after that, we will be discussing the accounting based COPA.
okay, got you.
Okay, so you will understand mainly the difference between these two.
So
Okay.
how do we know that we are supposed to use only costing based for customer or accounting based for customer or
The,
both of it for customer? How do we know?
yeah, this is based on the discussion that we are going to have with the business. So we will have to take the their business require their reporting requirement.
Okay.
So how do they want the report? So based on that, we can decide whether to go for accounting based or costing based. But most of the times we will be using these days, I mean, particularly on the S4 world, we will be using accounting based COPA.
Okay.
We'll be
Got you.
using accounting based COPA.
All right.
Okay. So what I'm doing, so here in our example, we have this is the requirement, this is the expectation. If you are going by costing based COPA, make sure to have value field for each of them. If you don't have a value field, of course, you will not find value fields for rent, electricity, then stationery, office, those kind of things you will not get. You will not get export sales, local sales, indirect sales. You will not get that, those the value fields. Then in such a case, we will have to create them and assign to our operating concern. Got my point?
So are you going to show us in case they don't
the
have it?
creation the
Okay.
creation thing that we will discuss later.
Okay.
We will
Okay.
discuss, but not now.
Okay.
Okay, so that's about the value field. So I have picked a few of them, and within that, VRPRS is very important value field that needs to be selected. What is this VRPRS? A small discussion on this is required. Okay, so if you are considering the product costing, I'm just giving some brief about the product costing. So what exactly the product costing is? It is nothing but a cost of production to view the cost of production. Now, in the cost of production, before we produce, we will decide what is our standard price. We will decide what is our standard price. It means how much is our material cost, how much is our labor cost, how much is going to be our overheads, other expenses. We will estimate at the beginning of the period. That is called standard price. Okay, we will estimate the price of the product, the cost of the product at the beginning of the month, and at the end of the month you will have the actual price, how much we spent on the material, how much we spent on labor, how much we spent on overhead. We will discuss, we will have these values. Now, the difference between standard price and actual price is nothing but a variance. Now, when you go here in the standard price, this standard price we will determine at the beginning of the month. This is going to be one of the month end activities, right? So we are considering, either you can consider it as a month end activity or month beginning activity. It means either you will have to do on 1st of February or 31st of January. Okay, so you need to have standard price first. So you can consider this as month end activity for the next period, or you can consider month beginning activity for that particular period. Okay, so normally we will consider this as month end activity, but some companies, they do consider this as a month beginning activity. That's fine, that's their call. Now, once we run the standard price, we have a transaction code CK11N and CK24. With that, what we can do is we will get the standard price of the product. Okay, that standard price, whatever the standard price that we have, that will get updated in the material master. This is what a sequence. This is what a sequence. So all the finished materials, remember one point is all the finished and semi-finished products, finished and semi-finished products will be maintained with standard price. Do you know what is price control? Price control will be considered as S. S stands for standard price. And we have the other one called, other price control called V. V is nothing but moving average price. It's nothing but average price. So if the normally we will do the standard price for semi-finished and finished materials only. It means whatever are the materials created with standard price, with price control as standard price, all those will be considered in the standard price calculation. When you are running CK11 and CK24, the finished materials and semi-finished normally will be considered. Why these will be considered? Because these two types of materials will be considered as a standard price in the price control, in the material master. So just you understand it. I mean, don't worry about it, because you will understand more clearly during our product costing. Now, when you have a standard price, what happens is the moment we complete the standard price, system will update this standard price as a price in the case of material master. In the finished and semi-finished material master, the same standard price will get updated. The same material price will get updated over here. Now, when do we consider this price? In our sales cycle, What do we have under sales cycle? Of course, we have not covered this. After our COPA, we will be discussing FIMM, FISD, and FIPP also, so that you will all have a clear, fair idea on this. What do we have under sales cycle? First, we will create sales order. Then after that, we do goods delivery, right? After that, we will have sales invoice, right? After that, we will receive amount from customer. This is using AR. In our finance, using AR, we will be collecting this. Earlier in our accounts receivable topic in finance, we posted directly one sales transaction in finance, and we have considered the amount from the customer. Okay, so that is what we call as invoice. This is called sales invoice. Now, sales are during the sales order, there won't be any entry, but during the goods delivery, system will create one entry that is called debit cost of goods sold, credit finished stock account. The amount for this goods delivery will come from the finished material, the standard price. How did we get the standard price? Based on the standard cost estimation. So whatever the standard cost estimate value we have, that will get updated in the finished material master. Since the finished material master has a price control S, so the same price will get updated over here. Now, the standard price will be considered during the goods delivery. During the goods delivery. Any questions here?
So the standard price automatically get updated into the material master?
Yes. As soon as we complete this, it gets updated over here.
So we do not have to write manually in MM.
No, 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 no.
Okay. And also same thing applies with the moving average price, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That
Okay.
happens automatically. We don't have to do anything.
So both happens automatically in material master.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the moment we complete our standard price calculation, the price will get updated in the relevant material master, since the material master has S. So remember, if you create any raw material or any other material with standard price, all will be considered here in the standard price calculations. So normally we don't maintain the raw materials and all other materials with standard price. We will maintain them with moving average price. So the internally generated materials will be considered as a standard price. It means when you are procuring the materials from outside, those materials should have moving average price. The materials which we are building within our organization, those are called finished products. It means with our manufacturing process, we will be producing a product that is called finished product. So all finished products will have standard price. These materials that we are not buying from outside. If you are buying any finished product from outside, then you need to maintain in moving average price only. That's the basic difference. Now, the standard price will get updated over here in the metal master. The same will be considered during the goods delivery. So whatever, while creating the sales order, we will have some price that is called selling price that will get updated during the sales invoice. Any questions?
No, Nanda.
Right.
This
Now,
is little
No,
okay.
no, it just is kind of confusing. But maybe when
Yeah.
you
correct.
start
So
talking,
you just revise this recording multiple times,
okay,
but when we are doing this sales cycle, you will understand more clearly. But
okay.
if you don't listen now, you may face still some problem, still some confusion. So go through this recording once and twice so you'll understand clearly.
Can you send this one today after class?
I mean, I'm not sure about it. Raghu will send across
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Okay. Now, during the sales invoice, what happens is the customer gets debited, revenue gets credited. The price of the revenue is what is mentioned here
Eh,
in the sales order.
sorry, Nanda. Even if this is going to be the last uh, day teaching for today, if you
Mhm.
can repeat what you just said, I'm just asking. I'm not the only person. If you can repeat what you said and end the class today, we don't mind. If you
Yeah.
can still,
Yeah.
please, if you
Fine.
can repeat from you saying that the difference between the standard price and the actual price is the variance.
Correct. Okay.
Okay, I'm asking the other class if you can repeat that and end your class today. We don't mind,
Yes. So
please.
you want me to repeat this again before the end of the session, right?
I'm asking others if they don't mind.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do that.
Okay.
Okay. So during the sales invoice, we will have an entry debit customer credit revenue. So the value comes to the sales invoice based on the price that you mention here in the sales order. But the goods delivery value will come based on the material master. The material master will have standard price, and this standard price will get updated based on the standard cost estimation. Now the important is, why did we come here? In our the sales will have a pricing procedure. We have seen our one pricing procedure in finance, right? Similarly, sales also will have a pricing procedure. The pricing procedure will have condition types, and let me go here. In our pricing procedure, account keys and condition types. Okay, I'm selecting our pricing procedure, selecting the control data. Here you see these are all the condition types, and these are all the account keys, right? These are all the condition types, and these are the account keys, right? So in the same way, the stock price, I mean the COGS price, whatever we have here, this will have a condition type called VPRS. This is called VPRS. VPRS is the condition type, and to this condition type, we need to have a value field. That is what VRPRS. VRPRS. This is what this. So that stock value, the condition type of the stock value, COGS value, should be mapped to this value field, so that the as soon as we are selling the goods, the stock price will get and updated over here. Will get and updated over here. We will see that part. We will see in our sales cycle. So because of that, we are taking up the sales cycle, purchase cycle after the COPA. After the COPA. Okay, so VRPRS is the value field for our stock value, for our COGS. So COGS has to be, now COGS is nothing but your standard price, right? Whatever are you selling, that you can see here. Okay, let me uh, give you a little more information here, so that, okay, so based on the standard price, let's say the total standard price coming to $100. Now, the actual price after producing, we got $120 after production. We estimated $100, but we got $120. $20 is our variance, right? Now, as soon as this standard price we have, the same thing will get updated here in the material master as 100. The same $100 will be considered here in the goods delivery. This 100 cogs will get updated in our COPA as 100. Now, in our sales cycle, the sales order is created with, let's say, $160. It means our selling price is $160. You can see the same thing here as debit customer, credit revenue, which is nothing but 160. So since the revenue also is updated here in COPA, the revenue can be seen here as 160. So 160 is our sale value and 100 is our cost value. You have 60, which is nothing but profit. But typically, if you see the scope of profit, 60 is not the real profit. That is not the actual profit. Why? Because the cost, whatever we have, is nothing but is not the actual cost. It's a standard price, standard cost. Okay. Now, the what is our actual price? It is 120. Actual price is 120. It means we have to have 120 over here so that our profit will be profit will be 40. That is what our actual profit. Now, in order to make this thing to 120, we are not going to pass this actual price. We will be passing the variance 20 to here so that our profit will be 40. So all the time you will see the standard price only in the COPA, and the difference between actual price and standard price is considered as a variance. Variance will also get updated in COPA so that you will have actual profit. Now, how do you get this 100 here? Because of that, because of VRPRS, because of this VRPRS. This VRPRS is linked to VPRS condition type that we will discuss.
Nanda,
Yes,
you said, this first of all, it's a very, very, very good in explanations, and thank you so very much.
no
This
problem, no
okay.
problem. Yeah,
Second thing, I wanted to understand about the variances. So it is considered as an expenses to the company or what?
it's nothing but an expenditure, right?
Oh,
It is
okay.
kind of expenditure for
Correct,
us,
correct, correct.
but not exactly the expenditure. It is a difference between the standard price and actual price.
Yes.
So all these are actual prices. The 20 whatever you have, the difference that will be posted as an expenditure, but both debit and credits are going to be expenses only. It means there won't be any impact on the actual side, because already actuals is showing as 120. Again, how can I show 20 as another expenditure? I should not show, because
No.
you know what I mean.
Yes.
Suppose if I consider 120 as an expenses, actual expenses, it means all these 120 are there already as expenses in my profit and loss account, right?
Right.
Now, if I consider 20 as again an expenditure, if just an expenditure, so my total expense is going to be 120 plus 20, that's going to be 140, which is wrong for me.
Mm-hmm.
Now what I will do, this 20 I will debit with 20 and credit again with 20. Both are going to be my profit and loss account. Both debit and credit are my profit and loss account. It means to 120, 20 will be added, 20 will be subtracted, again 120 will be there.
Mm.
What are these accounts that you can see during our product costing? But
Oh.
ultimately, those two are profit and loss accounts only.
Because like company was expecting $60 of profit because they assumed that $100 is gonna be my cost to
Mm,
produce the
mm.
one finished goods, correct?
Right, right.
Instead of that they're assuming $100, how about they just put 20% extra because they know that it's 20% is gonna be more at
No,
the
no, no.
time
That
of
is not the case. That is not the case. Let
oh.
us say on 1st January, we estimated material price is $100. Let
Mhm.
us assume. Now, when we are buying on 15th of January, the price is $105.
Mhm.
You may have that also, right?
Yeah.
While estimating, we will estimate the price whatever is available in the market. We
Okay.
don't estimate that one. the, again see here, we have a standard price as 100, 120 as actual price, 20s are variance. I mean, from the product costing front, people there in the product costing, I mean, cost accountant will see why 20 is coming as variance. He
Mhm.
has to analyze why that difference is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, probably labor is not producing effectively. Okay, we need to
Mm.
see why they are not producing effectively. Uh,
Okay.
Specifically, they are allowed to produce 10 units in a day, but they are producing only 8 or 7. We need to find out why that is happening. Is that due to the age? Is that due to some fatigue? That
Oh,
we will have to see. We will have to consider all of them. We have to minimize this variance. Always we will have to stick to the standard price. That's the
okay.
part of the cost accountant.
Okay. But let's say one thing, oh, sorry, one more thing, that I wanted to clear my doubts. Suppose now they are going, they're buying, material for $100. Current market value is $100 for material A. But they think,
Mhm.
that by the time, like 2 months from now, when actual, that we buy, is gonna be 120. So why don't they just simply assume that
No,
instead of
no, no.
$100?
This is going to be a month-end activity.
Oh,
If you are finding that the price is that much difference, we will have to do this monthly.
oh,
Normally, people consider this yearly.
mm-hmm.
Year-end activity. This is also considered as year-end activity. It means they do the standard cost estimation for the next year, for the whole next year,
Okay,
not only for the month.
okay,
So normally this is going to be one of the month-end activities or beginning of the month activity,
okay.
month beginning activity.
Uh,
Okay, so slowly over the periods, the variance will be minimized. You will not find this much of variance. You will be taking lot of measures to reduce this, and accordingly, of course, sometimes we will have some difference because of the material price, because we cannot predict this at all. Sometimes you may have, we may estimate 100, we may have 105, sometimes we may get it for 90 also, right? So you can see these kind of things.
okay. All right. Yeah, understood.
Right. So this is what basically about this. Now, the point here, what I'm saying is the COGS, whatever you have in the sales pricing procedure, the condition type is VPRS. That VPRS will be linked to VRPRS in our COPA. That is what this value field is. So make sure this is there when you are using costing based COPA. Of course, in costing based COPA, you will be selecting value fields, and within that, you make sure to have this stock value. I mean, PRS value field. I'm just assigning, again, you can see in blue color. So now you can see here also. Now, these are the value fields that we have, and before you activate, you can take them back also. You can take them back. But once you activate it, you cannot take this back. You can
And
assign them back. Now,
okay.
if I want, I can assign it over here. This is possible all the time, but if I want to take that back, I can do. I can do. But once I activate it, I cannot take them back. Okay. So what
But
I've done,
you can always add it,
assign.
after,
Yes, we can add. There is no condition on the
and
active, but we cannot take them back.
now one more thing, that, okay, so after, we activated and if we don't use that particular value field, then
Hmm.
it's still okay. Or
Yeah,
we,
that is fine. That is absolutely fine. So it does not mean that we are using all these value fields. Totally based on the report requirement. In some report, we may require this field, in this value field, and in another report we don't require. Right? So That's up to you whether you want to use all of them or you want to use few of them. Okay, but characteristics, you have to be very careful what are required that you will be selecting. Okay, so once you assign the relevant characters and value fields, just you take back arrow, you will get a pop-up. It is saying structure was changed, data will be lost, do you wish to exit editing? I'm saying no, I don't want. Why? Because whatever the characteristics, whatever the value fields, I want them to be activated. So you have one option called here activate. Select that. All objects of the structures have been activated now. Okay, now activate. So first you activate it. Now take back arrow. You will get one more window. Oh, what happened to that? So normally we will have one more window. Let us go back and do it once again. I'm activating here. Oh my, okay, one second. That is the sequence that we will have to see. Okay, first you activate it. We should not save directly. The moment we are taking the back arrow, you will get one more window. It is asking for saying yes over there, but it is not happening over here. I'm just going back again, saving back. Here you have a status. Now you can see the status here in the environment. What happened here? Okay, going back to the maintain operating concern, change again, going into attributes, change here, selecting here K4, selecting company code. Okay, going into data structures, going into change. Okay, activating. We should not save here. We should not save. Okay, now take back arrow. Oh, it's not coming. That's fine. So normally I will create one more and I'll show you that. We will see. Now in the environment, you can't see over here. Still it is in the red color, right? Red color should not be there. Here it is fine. It means data structure is fine, but on the whole, the operating concern is not perfect. But here again, we will see a red color over here, but we are not finding. Let us see. Save changes first. I'm saving them. right? You can see here. Now I'm activating it. So this will take little time. So this thing happens basically when you select back arrow, you will get a window.
So Nanda, when you activated these two,
Hmm.
means that whatever you changes, whatever you add, everything will be copied to the another client.
Correct. If it is a cross client related stuff. Yeah,
Okay,
it will be activated based on this thing, it will activate.
so we do not require it to transfer manually from one
No,
client
no,
to
no, we
another.
don't. Right.
Okay,
But
and
major once the environment has not been generated completely, it is saying that. Now here you see both in the red. Now I am selecting this.
so we have to select both of them, right? Activate both of them.
Correct, correct, correct. So it does not mean, when I say the cross client, it does not mean that everything will be copied into the other clients. Only few settings, that
Okay.
internal settings will get copied into the other one, and the remaining will be imported.
And client specific part means it will not. I mean, what does that mean? Client specific part.
Sorry.
The client specific part. If you
Uh-huh.
activate that, if you activate that,
That shows that it will not go to other clients. It will just they if you are
We will
using,
have to move.
we have to move
Yes.
transfer.
okay. So that means, Nanda. So we are contradicting, with each other. Here, first part we are saying that okay, you transfer, and second part we says you don't do that. We will do it manually.
Mm-hmm.
No, no, no. He's saying that the cross client, whatever you maintain, will be going to all the clients. Let's say, for example, clients 100, 120, 130. When you save, the changes will be in these three clients. But when you use client specific in only 100, you will have to move transfers. He can explain again.
Has not been generated. So if it is in the red color, it will not allow us to do anything. Oh my God, something went wrong. It is not happening properly. Okay. Yes, this is what that will come up. Do you wish to generate the operating concern environment? This is what should come. Okay. As soon as when we are here, the moment we select activate, once we are done, when we take back arrow, we will get this. So just say yes, it has to come. This window has to come.
So we miss in between the steps.
I don't think, I mean, we did not miss, but system did not give us. We
So
did not miss
whatever
anything. I
whatever
will
we
show you
have,
one more. I'll create one more operating concern and I'll show you that.
okay. Because the environment tab is saying that we don't have to click anything there, that it will come automatically.
Right. Not generated completely. So mainly some problem is there here. Let us create, if this does not work, let us create another operating concern. It has not been generated. Let us see. Not been generated. Some problem. Let us see. I will check it once again and I'm going to create a new one. So again, I'm going into maintain operating concern, taking 2000. I'm just creating 2000, saying create. I have this window. Yes, I'm selecting operating concern 2000. Okay. I'm selecting costing based, accounting based. Okay. And going into attributes, selecting the operating concern, fiscal year, company code. I'm just selecting the same thing. I'm not going to environment because there is nothing there. Going into data structure again, create. So in order to create, it expects the save changes first. So I'm saving now. Okay, you have red color over here, create. Okay, selecting two characteristics. I think we did select two characteristics. Sales employee and country, land one. Selecting both of them. And here in the value fields, I'm selecting few items. Let us say revenue. Next is depreciation we have selected. Um, Next is, insurance we have selected. And let's say sales and marketing. And next, I will say administration, sales commission. The standard price. This is not the one VRPRS to select. Revenue. I did not find revenue. Revenue. So selecting all of them. here, taking here, okay, and I'm activating, okay, all objects have been activated. Don't save now, take back arrow, you will have a window. This is the window you will have. Just say yes. With this, it has to become green. Otherwise, go to environment, select the client or cross client in order to make this green. Oh my God, some problem there on the system side, I feel. Why this is not happening? Some of the objects of the environment could not be generated. It is not possible to work in operating console. Detailed information, see log, details of log under extras, correct the cause and generate the environment. Activation log. Problem class important. What is that? New COPA characteristics for AC Doka. Please start report in background. Environment has not been generated completely. Okay, so COPA characteristics for COPA. So these COPA characteristics, whatever are we selecting, please start a report. It is saying as a report to be executed in the background. Right, this is the program. So I'm selecting this program, okay, going into AC38. I think program will be there in AC38.
Yes, SC38, correct.
Just keep it over here and execute in the background. In the background. Okay, I'm just executing that in the background. Run now. Specify variant and a variant. So normally we don't select anything here. Otherwise, let us execute that right away. Operating concern is 2000. Must be started in background only.
And then can we just create the variant and just execute it?
Uh, with variant you are saying?
Yeah. Because they're
You
asking
want me
us.
to you want me to do that in the background, or how do you want
No,
me to?
no, that is what system want to run this on a background.
Mm-hmm.
So if yeah, No, create, no. Just create one variant.
We don't have anything. Operating concern is 2000. Copa.
Select the first one. Yeah, select the first. Only,
Only in the background.
Sorry?
only on background. First
Yeah.
one, yeah.
Only for background. So you can go back to that program then and execute in the background. In the background.
SM37 or
SE38.
no,
No, no, no, no.
SC38 is done.
For
Yeah,
it's
this is
done. It's active now.
so why are we doing this program? Right, so since we have AC doka is our universal journal entry table, right? Universal journal entry table. So in COPA, the COPA characteristics also will appear there in AC doka in order once we run this program. That is what I read here. I don't remember doing this, but anyways, it is asking us to do that, right? Okay, I want to take a screenshot of it and I want to send across, but somehow that is not happening. Fine.
Hey Nanda,
Yes.
I don't have to keep you guys waiting. I want to go pick my family in
Okay, okay,
1 o'clock.
fine. So
So
ultimately here in this case, I'm just giving a brief on it. Okay, so the standard price, this is basically the product costing process. The standard price, we will have to create this one, and once we run the standard price, we will have a standard price. This standard price will update. I mean, this standard price we will be running based on the material only, based on the material which is maintained with price control as S will be considered here in this process. The price will get updated in the relevant material master since the price control as S. The same price will be considered as COGS amount during the goods delivery in sales cycle. So COGS, this will have a condition type called VPRS. Condition type is there in the sales pricing procedure. This VPRS connected with VRPRS in our COPA. So that way we are considering value type VRPRS. Okay, so I think once this is done, we can go ahead and we can do. Okay, so I think if you want, you can go ahead and I will just, we will continue this, the activation. Once it is activate, I'll go and regenerate the COPA.
Nanda, when you said, that standard price, that is based on the material. Now, if we are, manufacturing the any material or goods,
Mhm.
there could be so many other material involved into that. It's not
Correct,
only, yeah.
correct. That
So,
standard price.
yeah. So
This,
it, okay, go ahead.
yeah, It means the standard price we are running for a finished stock. Okay, we are running the standard price for a finished stock. This is our finished stock. And in order to create this finished stock, we require materials, different materials. It means we may require packing materials, we
Yes.
may require raw materials, we may require consumables, we may require a lot of stuff. And here we may require labor, we may require machinery, right? All those will be covered here itself. And the combination of all these nothing but your finished stock standard price.
That means, suppose if you are making a car. Now, in a car, you're buying, one steering, one
Correct,
clutch,
correct.
one
All
gear.
those are called components that will be here.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Got it.
All
Okay.
those will be here. These are not, this is not a standard material. I mean, finished material. This material is nothing but may contain lot. So this is what we call it as BOM, bill of material. That we will discuss. Okay, BOM will have what are materials required in order to create a finished product.
Okay, so the combinations of the all the raw material to make one product, it
Hmm.
is considered as a material, one finished
Correct, correct.
material. Oh, okay, got
I've
it.
just given one basic point. So what do we have? What does basically a standard price contain? So basically the standard price contain material, labor, and overhead.
Okay, okay, Nanda, good.
Yeah, I think it will take little more time.
Because look at the start date, it's a March 23rd, 2019. So until then, it will not start, right?
No, no, no. Current date is 23rd. If you see here in our this thing, if you go into FB50 or anywhere, you will see that system is still, I mean, system date. That is a system date. You see 23rd. Current period is 23rd only, according to the system. We have been posting all in March only. Finished. Okay, this is done. So let us go back to our operating concern area. Okay, I'm going back again. Let me generate. Did I say 2000 there or 1248? Let us see for 1248 now. Let me say 1248. There is some problem.
Okay, Nanda, wherever you stop, I will watch the video.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, fine.
I just want to go
But
pick my
there
family.
is some problem with this, but you carry on, please.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye. This we have done, but still why? At least one new characteristic which is not known in database table was added to the operating concern. The runtime required to activate the database table is so long that it needs to be performed in the background. For this reason, the client independent environment which transaction cannot be executed in the foreground. The step for adding new COPA characteristics to database table was therefore transferred to program this thing. The client independent environment can only be fully activated without errors after the characteristics are added to the database table and the database table is activated without errors. Execute program, okay, for operating concern in the background. When the program has been executed without errors, generate the client independent environment for operating 1248 again. Operating concern will then be available again. It, we have done the same thing, but
Yes, we did that, but can we
mm,
check the table level AC Docker table and see which characteristics is missing? And
no,
we can, just remove that.
whatever we have added here, those are to be added to the AC Docker table. So that is the expectation.
Oh, okay. How about you have to just refresh all the way you go out?
Let me just try again. I have done it for 2000. Let me do it for 1248. Mm, Copa, I think we have this thing, right? So let us take the same thing. No, we have already created Copa. This is done.
Did you notice that, that previously you run, it took 419 seconds. Second one is,
Mm,
just zero.
mm,
Yeah, that means the second one, 1248, you run 1248 for second one.
correct.
So let's try that, it could be.
Yeah, it happened now. I think we have to come out from the screen completely and get into. So basically we need to have greens. That is the expectation.
So Nanda, I want to understand here, what was actual issue? Why was that? I understand that, that some characteristics were not getting transferred to the Asidoka table, right?
Hmm.
But here what we did, something, we did not do right, or some configurations, or
No, no, it's
some
not
steps.
that. This is not that one.
So
So
why was that?
according to it, when you have your characteristics in your COPA, these characteristic fields are not available in AC Doka, standard AC Doka. In order to make them available, we have to run this program. This is the program to run in order to available those characteristics in AC Doka table.
But if you remember, I mean, if you can look at this, we did not change anything, on this program or any.
Correct. We did not change anything. We
So
ran that program. We ran that program in order to have these characteristics available in AC Doka table. That's the
so
standard process.
no,
That's the
then
stand.
question is that why that first time it did not run, like it took 419 seconds, and here.
Probably the variant we have taken, right? The variant that we have taken probably have this information already.
But we use the same variant, Copa.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. Copa already we ran for the first time, right? That
Yes.
time it took long time.
uh,
Now we are taking the same variant for this other, what do you call other operating concern. So probably that that is the reason why we got in 0 seconds.
yeah, but in spite of, okay, it took 419 seconds. That is okay. But in spite of that, it did not work.
No, it worked actually. So we have to come out from this screen and run again. We did
Oh.
not do that. We were in the same screen and running the transaction. Now I came out, entered 2000. Now it works because screen was frozen. See now, you can see green.
Yes. Okay.
So we need to come out, enter. That's the reason. Okay, I think we are good with it. So we will continue tomorrow.
Okay. Okay, Nanda.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thanks. Thank you. Bye bye. I'll ask Raghu to share the recordings.
Yeah. So that's why I can also go through again, this recording today.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, sir.
Thanks. Bye bye.